We're going on the record in the matter of the city of Wyandotte versus Luke.
Yunchai,
Okay, which is your first name?
Judge Yunchai, George,
George?
Luke Yunchai.
Okay. Okay. Well, I completely messed up both of those pronunciations. Luke was the easier name to pronounce, obviously, but, okay. So, all right, so. All right, because on this form that was signed, it says Luke J. George, but that's reversed. It's George, Luke, Junkai.
Yunchai.
Yunchai.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so we're on the record in this matter, 23W0079231. Insert your name for the record, please.
Jerry Yunchai.
Okay. And you received a citation for improper passing, correct?
Correct.
And disruptive behavior. Sorry, this is A and B.
Yes, ma'am.
And you had an opportunity to speak to the prosecuting attorney, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And there has been a resolution.
Yes.
And what do you understand that resolution to be?
Double parking and the unruly behavior. I believe, if I'm correct.
Yes, that's what that says. You live in Las Vegas?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and sir, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And you heard the plea, or you stated the plea that was worked out between yourself and the prosecuting attorney, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
As to the amended charge of double parking, how do you plead? Responsible or not responsible?
Responsible, Your Honor?
As to the disruptive behavior, how do you plead? Responsible or not responsible?
Responsible again, Your Honor.
And you understand you have the right to have a contested hearing in these matters. By entering into a plea, you will not have that hearing. Do you understand that?
I understand that, Your Honor.
And the possible penalty as a result of your plea, correct?
I am.
Has anybody promised or anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way for you to enter into a plea today?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court does find the plea is knowing and voluntary. The court will accept your plea to the amended charge of double parking and the original charge of disruptive behavior. And that's $200 for the double parking, $200 for the disruptive behavior, a total of $400. You have that to pay today, sir?
I do, Your Honor.
And have you been in Michigan since this incident, or did you come back to Michigan?
No, I've been here.
And when are you returning back to Las Vegas?
I'm working, Your Honor. I'm a traveler. I'm a pipe fitter welder in union. I'm out here traveling as a worker.
Oh, okay.
Just trying to make ends meet and save as much money as I can to go back home to my family.
Okay. Well, so reading the report, you're fortunate that that was the, that you were issued 2 civil infractions instead of some other type of offense based upon what the police report said. So have a seat out in the lobby and somebody will be with you shortly.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good day.
You as well.
What was that, sir?
I know this gentleman. I was just saying goodbye, Your Honor. That's all I was doing. Nothing negative towards the court.
Oh, okay. No, that's good. I didn't know if you had a question or anything like that. All right.
No, ma'am. Have a good day, Your Honor.
All right, you as well. We're on the record in the matter of the city of Wyandotte versus Obren Dokic, 231671 A, B, C, and D.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jason Malkowitz on behalf of Mr. Dokich.
Good morning.
Your Honor.
I had a much easier time with your name than Mr. George
Yunchai.
Yunchai, yes.
It's the Albanian morning you have here, Judge, so.
I'm from Montenegro.
Well, in any event, it's a challenge on pronunciations for me this morning. I haven't even had a full cup of coffee, but, okay, so council, today is the date scheduled for the adjourned pretrial in this matter. And what's happening?
Judge, we do have a resolution whereby my client is going to plead guilty to an added count of operating while visibly impaired, as well as responsible to refusal of the PDT. The original OWI will be dismissed as well as 2 other civil.
All right, sir, please raise your right hand. Swear from the testimony about to give this man be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes,
All right, and sir, you heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record, correct?
correct.
As to the amendment charge of operating while visibly impaired by alcohol, how do you plead?
Yes.
As to the citation of refused PBT, how do you plead, responsible or not responsible? I need you to speak up, sir.
Responsible.
Okay. And you've had an opportunity to review your advice of rights with your attorney, correct?
Correct.
And you understood all of those rights.
Yes, Your Honor.
You also understand by entering into a plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your trial and appellate rights.
Yes,
And you understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea, whether in this court, any other court, or administrative agency.
yes, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, are there any immigration issues?
Your Honor, my client is a green card holder. He's lawfully here. I did explain to him that there could be some immigration consequences, like inability to go forward with this citizenship for a period of time, but he should not be subject to deportation.
Okay, all right, so you understand all that,
Yes,
okay. And knowing all that, you still want to continue with your plea?
yes,
Has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way for you to enter into a plea?
no,
All right, counsel, you can please refer to your client.
Mr. Dokich, on June 10th of this year, were you driving a motor vehicle within the city of Wyandotte?
yes,
Previous to operating that motor vehicle, did you consume 7 beers?
6, 7,
Okay. As a result of that consumption of alcohol, do you believe that your ability to operate a motor vehicle was less than that of an ordinary driver?
yes,
Okay. And they took a blood test, correct?
correct,
And you would agree that the results of that blood test were a 0.14, is that correct?
correct,
Is it true that you also were offered a preliminary breath test and did not take that test?
yes,
All right, okay, the court is also satisfied that the plea is knowing, voluntary, and factually accurate. The court will accept your plea to the amended charge of operating while visibly impaired by alcohol and the original charge of refusing a PBT. Dismiss the original operating while intoxicated charge, the elective center, and the obstructive vision. And we'll schedule this matter for sentencing.
Actually, let's do the 17th. I just realized my other hearings were Zoom rather than in person. So
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
Okay. Would you like to- So what time would work best for your,
8:30.
okay, we can do 8:30 on the 17th. Sir, if you were to test today, what would be detected in your system?
Nothing, 0,
Bond and conditions are continued. Please have a seat over probation. Somebody will brief you shortly. Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
all right, thank you. Have a good day. All right. We're on the record in the matter of the city of Wyandotte versus Alvis Valverde, 231635. And counsel, your appearance, please.
Good morning, Judge. Attorney Corey Westmoreland, appearing on behalf of Mr. Valverde. Mr. Valverde, please state your name for the record.
Alvis Valverde.
Okay, you need to be much louder, sir.
Alvis Valverde.
All right, thank you. And today's the date scheduled for the pretrial in this matter. And counsel?
Yes, Your Honor, at this time, the city attorney has offered to amend the original assault battery to the civil infraction disruptive behavior. My client would like to avail himself of that offer.
All right, and that's because the victim is being uncooperative?
That is correct, Judge.
And that's your sister, sir?
Yes.
You haven't had any communication with her? So you're very quiet
No, I have not.
and you're not living there?
No. She don't live with me.
Well, he still lives there, she moved out.
Your sister's not a stranger to this court either, but. All right, sir, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sir,
Nothing but the truth.
thank you. We have to record you, and when you're quiet, we can't really record you, okay?
Sorry.
All right, that's okay. All right, and so you heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record.
Yes.
As to the amended charge of disruptive behavior, how do you plead? Responsible or not responsible?
Responsible.
And you've gone over your advice or rights with your attorney, correct?
Correct.
And you understand all of those rights.
Correct.
You also understand by entering into a plea that you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your trial and appellate rights.
Correct.
And you understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea.
Correct.
Has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or forced you in any way for you to enter into a plea?
No.
All right, the court does find the plea is knowing and voluntary. The court will accept your plea to the amended charge, dismiss the original charge per the plea agreement. And that's $200. And you did post a bond, so we can apply that. And then we can mail the balance back to you, sir. So just have a seat in the lobby to make sure that your information is accurate with the court here, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, we're still on the record in the matter of the city of Wyandotte versus Jason McCoy, 231812.
Good morning, Judge and Attorney Corey Westmoreland, appearing on behalf of Mr. McCoy. Mr. McCoy, will you please state your name for the record?
Ms. Taylor, can you please place your appearance on the record?
Good morning, Your Honor. Billy Joe Saylor, P number 82278 on behalf of the people, City of Wyandotte.
All right, thank you. And this is the matter of Mr. McCoy. Well, sir, your attorney, I think, got you the deal of the day today. Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. As to the amended charge of careless driving, how do you plead? You've gone over your advice of rights, correct, sir? Yes, ma'am. And you understand all of those rights? Yes. You also understand by entering into a plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your trial and appellate rights. Yes. You also understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea, correct? Yes. And knowing all that, you still want to continue with your plea? Yes. Has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way to enter into a plea? Court does find this very generous plea to be knowing and voluntary. And that's $200, sir. You have to pay today.
I can pay it first thing Monday morning.
So the answer is no, you don't have it to pay today.
I don't have it on me, but go ahead.
And you're currently revoked. You don't have a valid license.
No,
How'd you get here?
and my partner, my work partner, dropped me off this morning. He would be the one that would come.
When I got here this morning, Your Honor, I did see a client sitting on the curb this morning. He was not in a car, there was no car around him, so.
So let me be very clear. The amount of investigation that it took to, according to the report anyway, to identify you as the driver, the driving behavior, quite frankly, you should count your blessings that this is the deal that you got today.
Yes,
120 miles an hour. And somehow I'm not really sure how that, on the report, it indicates something about fleeing and eluding. I don't know why it wasn't, I don't know how that didn't end up occurring and you ended up getting a reckless driving. You just got that reduced to a civil infraction. Let me assure you, sir, that will not happen again in this court. At all. Have a seat in the lobby or have the person bring up the money by included in.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, good morning. Why are you on Zoom, ma'am?
Why am I on
Yes, why
I-
are you not in Zoom?
I'm full. I'm a full-time student. I'm a full-time student. I'm in
Okay, where do you live?
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Okay, that would explain why you are on Zoom. Okay. And are you in bed?
No, I'm on the chair.
Okay. All right, I'm just waiting for your attorney to log in. Okay. Thank you. All right, so we are going on the record in the matter of the City of Wyandotte versus Saria Abdu, 231816A and B. And appearance, counsel?
Your Honor, John Goldberg, P 30758 on behalf of Ms. Abdu. Ms. Abdu, would you please put your name on the record?
Yes, sir, I have to.
Okay. And the court will note that Ms. Abdu is at school in out of state, and so she was granted permission to appear via Zoom. And counsel and I checked your client, and I was unsure why she was on Zoom, but I didn't have the file that had that that information on
I
there. so-
understand, Your Honor, and I also notified the individuals out front.
Yes, yes, okay. And so, counsel, as to today's the date for the arraignment, pre-trial, and as to the arraignment.
Your Honor, as to the arraignment, she was going to mute the charges, waive a form reading of those charges, and ask for a plea of not guilty.
Okay, ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I didn't hear you.
I solemnly swear nothing.
Okay. All right, thank you. And so, ma'am, you heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record, correct?
You have to speak up, Ms. Abdu.
It's all of your answers are not coming through. I see your mouth moving, but the volume isn't transferring over our way. So you heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record, correct?
Yes, I have.
And as to minor possession, How do you plead? Responsible or not responsible?
Responsible.
I'm sorry? Okay, your connection isn't great, or maybe you're holding your phone down on something or your device. I don't know, the speaker's muffled. But can you try that again?
Yes. Responsible.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Responsible.
Okay. And you've gone over your advice and rights with your attorney, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you understand that by entering into a plea, that you will be waiving some of those rights.
Yes, I understand.
And you also understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea, correct?
Yes.
And knowing all that, you want to continue with your plea.
Yes.
The court will accept your plea as knowing and voluntary. Indicate a plea, fine, I believe the fine is $100 because it's your first offense. Ma'am, I'm reviewing the police report.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
I need to interrupt the court. I know what you're going to say, because
What
I
am I going to
said
say?
that the report is, she was taken to the hospital because of the intoxication.
A level of alcohol consumption.
Right, it's unclear what that level was, but there was no doubt, based on that report, that there was there was this type of consumption. She's told me she wanted to make sure that the court knew this was not her personality. She has no recollection of this matter and is addressing those issues while she's at school. Is that correct, Ms. Adams?
That is correct.
Apparently the officers were dispatched to an unconscious female
That's correct, Your Honor.
and you're unable to sit up, you're unable to speak with the officers. And according to the friend that you were with, that you consumed a lot of alcohol. So, ma'am, I certainly hope that while you're out of state on a college campus with much less supervision than home, that you are not putting yourself in this situation again.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's $100. So you have that to pay today.
Okay.
Can you pay that amount today?
Yes, I can.
Okay, $100. Good luck in your studies.
Thank
you. I think you have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And you've gone over your rights and rights with your attorney, correct?
Yes,
And you understand those rights?
yes,
And you also understand by entering into a plea that you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your trial and appellate rights.
correct, yes.
And you understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea, whether in this court or any other court or administrative agency.
Yes,
And knowing all that, you still want to continue with your plea.
yes.
Has anybody promised or anything, threatened you or coerced you in any way for you to enter into a plea?
No,
All right, Council, you can please run to your client.
Thank you, Ms. Pasquette. Back on July 22nd of 2023, were you operating a motor vehicle in the city of Wyandotte?
Yes,
And did there come a point in time when you came in contact with the Wyandotte Police Department?
yes,
And when they asked you for a valid operator's license, were you able to provide them with one?
No.
So in other words, you're allowing yourself to operate a motor vehicle.
yes,
Thank you. Right, and satisfied.
Court is also satisfied the plea is knowing, voluntary, and factually accurate. The court will accept your plea, the amended charge, and to the expired plate, dismiss the original charges per the plea agreement, and counsel as to sentencing.
Your Honor, we'd ask for immediate sentencing. This was a very complicated, I say that, situation. This was a medical emergency. Ms. Pasquette suffered from
5 rare diseases and CVID. All my doctors were at this hospital at the Henry Ford, and the ambulance will not take me there. Because I live in Flat Rock, they'll take me to the Beaumont one, is the furthest they'll take me. I found out the following weekend when I had it on, for sure.
Well, you have the right to
No,
request,
they won't let, I'm sorry, I apologize.
you have the right to request which hospital you go to. And it isn't as though it's hours away, that's different. So you may need to have a conversation with whichever
And I
unit transporting you.
And they just, her husband, who recently passed, was her caretaker. She's pretty much homebound unless something like this happens. Today, she got an Uber, and she ended up walking where the police, made the stop to the hospital. She was in the hospital for approximately 5 days. I just want to bring that to the court's attention because this was not willy-nilly driving down the street to the McDonald's. I want to bring that to the court's attention.
Okay, and so, ma'am,
It was a valid instruction.
okay. And do you have that documentation of the hospitalization with you?
Yes, not with me. I can get it faxed over.
So my other question is why is today you took an Uber, why didn't you do that on July 21st?
I think, yeah, like,
She didn't have any more of a disability check.
I can't hear you.
She indicated, Your Honor, that she didn't have the money to pay at that point in time. However, she had received her disability check.
And so whose car did you drive?
It was her husband's truck, who had since passed. Hence, the probate just finished that, handling that matter. And hence, the car had never been relicensed.
Okay, and so what's the status of the truck now? Is it sold?
No, just sitting there
Okay,
in the back of my house.
so because you don't have a valid license, you're revoked.
I was getting it back this year because probate was just finished, just 2 weeks ago. And I couldn't do anything until probate was done. So I was just gonna get my license back because I wasn't coherent, like all there mentally, after my husband died for 2 years, from 2 years ago. I got paid today, so that's why I get it cheaper.
Okay, but here's my question. You don't know that you're getting your license back. You haven't even started that process, right?
I'm almost positive I will, yes.
But you haven't started the process.
Somewhat, yes, I have.
What does that mean? Somewhat, yes, I have.
I have to wait for one more letter, and I've already done the interview with the lady, one of the ladies, and then I should get it back. I just have to get a court date. I almost had it prior, but I went into respiratory failure. That's why I didn't get it. I've been disabled since '09.
The report will note that,
I don't have an immune system, so I don't leave the house because of that. I do infusions to stay alive.
court's going to indicate a $200 fine, $100 cost, crime victim assessment fee of $75, justice system assessment fee of $50, which is a total of $425 on the allowed licensed driver to drive. The expired plates, $100, and the attorney fees are $150, for a total of $675.
Pay that today.
Yes.
All right, please have a seat out in the lobby, and somebody will be with you shortly.
Thank you.
You.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to go off. Rebecca, for just one moment, council, then I'll be with you. Just for a minute.
On behalf of Ms. Wall. Ms. Wall, was please put your name on the record.
Ma'am, please state your name for the record.
Kimberly Wall.
All right, well, this matter was scheduled for an exam on September 7th. Your client failed to appear for that exam despite having a Wayne County jail tether. And she had posted, or somebody had posted for her on the 5th, $2,500, which is the $25,000 10% bond this court had ordered. And that was the fastest tether that was apparently ever provided, because she was out before her September 7th date. And in fact, she was at a home that's not even in her history of addresses. So when were you picked up and arrested, ma'am?
I was arrested in the car with my mom.
When?
Yesterday.
Okay.
The reason that I missed court was I didn't have a ride. My mom was in Vegas and I didn't have a ride. And I understood that I understood what was going on the 7th, that I was being bonded over.
You
So
don't
it's
know
not
that at
like-
all. You didn't, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
Ma'am, you don't. Were you intending on waiving your exam?
No,
Well, then how do you know you're going to be bound over? This court did.
because that's what when my attorney spoke with me, that's what he said, that I was gonna be bond, that's what that court date would be, is bond over. You know, so it's not like I was trying to run from a sentencing or something. Is all I was saying.
Okay, well, I will say that doesn't really make it any better.
No, it doesn't.
And so, how did you get to the home in Detroit after you were released from jail, ma'am? How'd you get there?
From my aunt.
Okay, so why didn't you have your aunt bring you down to Wyandotte for your court date?
Because she got sick.
And so you didn't know how to contact the court?
No, I failed to contact the court.
Yes, you failed to contact the court. Did you?
I didn't mess up my tether though.
You did?
I did not.
I think she's saying, Your Honor, that she didn't tamper with the tether.
Okay, well, that's good. That'll be a whole other charge, so.
I agree, Your Honor,
Yes.
and when she kept saying bound over, I believe, as she indicated, that her attorney, retained attorney had discussions with her and was advising her that at the exam date, they were going to wait. That's my own, in discussing that matter with her previously.
Okay. Well, based upon, well, and even then, man, you still haven't even contacted the court. You're only here because you were arrested yesterday, because this court issued a warrant for your arrest.
Well, I was sent a paper saying that I had 23 days to turn myself in.
So that your bond wouldn't be forfeited, because this court ordered your bond to be forfeited, and then we're required to give you 28 days for you to turn yourself in, so the bond isn't forfeited. And so were you going to wait until the last day?
No, I was just trying to get things in order.
What was your plan? Because you
I was
clearly
just
didn't
trying to get
contact
things
the
in-
court. You could, please let me finish. You didn't
Okay.
contact the court. You didn't stop in here. Where were you arrested at, ma'am? What city?
Lincoln Park, I think.
Okay, so you were close by and you still didn't even stop into the court.
Well, my mom was home from Vegas then.
What?
My mom was home. My mom wasn't home my mom was in Vegas on the 7th. So that's why I didn't have a ride. Then she was home.
I'm talking about yesterday, ma'am, or any
Yes.
time between the time your mom got home from Vegas and yesterday. You
Okay,
did not at any point contact the court at all or come into court to handle your matter. And I'm going to presume that your attorney is going to try to argue to reduce your bond. I don't even know where your client is living. Is she living in Monroe or is she living in Detroit? Where is she living?
Monroe.
So whose home was in Detroit that you were at? I know you said your aunt picked you up. Whose home is that?
It was right when I got out of jail and it was a friend's house.
I'm sorry, what? You're breaking up.
It was a friend's house. It was right when I got out of jail.
Well, good. That friend couldn't have brought you down here?
Well, I was supposed to be staying in Monroe.
Yeah, you were in Detroit.
I'm sorry. What was that, ma'am?
You're saying that you were supposed to have been in Detroit, in Monroe, but yet you were in Detroit.
Yeah, when I first got out of jail.
Ma'am, if you were to test what's in your system,
If what?
if you were to test what is in your system,
Methadone, THC.
do you have prescriptions for either one of those, ma'am?
Yeah, I do go to the methadone clinic, but I don't for the THC.
Okay, counsel.
Your Honor, I believe that under the circumstances, she knew she had to get here. Unfortunately, she did not have a means of getting here. Even more unfortunately, she did contact her attorney with respect to that to make some appeal for an adjournment. I can only say, Your Honor, that it was not the best choice she's ever made, and we asked the bond be reinstated, with, of course,
Counsel, I can appreciate your advocacy for your client, but the teller had zero impact on whether or not your client was going to appear in court. There was a $25,000, 10% bond with the teller. That didn't matter to her. She didn't show up to court and it's been 2.5 weeks and she still didn't show up in court. The only reason we're here is because fortunately somebody got pulled over by the police and here she is.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, it was her mother who was out of town. I'm not being facetious. And now, because she was out of town, wasn't able to get her to the last court, she could have made a lot more effort. I do agree with that, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am, how old are you?
46.
So I would presume that you have some other resources other than your mother to transport you places, ma'am.
Not really.
Well, you have your aunt, you have some friends that you stay with, so you need to utilize those resources. And
Okay.
how are you supporting yourself?
Social disability.
Okay, and so you can't Uber? When do
I-
you receive your checks?
On the 3rd.
The 3rd. So you had just received your check 4 days prior to your court date. So you absolutely could have Ubered, ma'am.
I hadn't received my check yet.
It's directly deposited, is it not?
From being in jail, I had to get it re-established and everything.
It doesn't-
She may,
Well, what I'm going to
she
indicate,
may have missed the date you gave her, this, the third.
she was arrested on the third, on the second. So she would have had a deposit on August 3rd.
Correct.
And so I'm not sure what she's saying, that she would have had to reinstate anything, because then there was another one for September 3rd. And you don't generally have to reinstate anything regarding your disability from 1 month to the next. So
If
Ms.
you're in
Walls, I don't know
jail,
what. I'm sorry?
If you're in jail, you do.
And so when were you supposed to have done that?
Before, when I was in jail, before I got out on the 1st.
Well, based upon the defendant's failure to appear, despite having a bond posted, despite having a tether, the court is not going to reinstate her bond. The court is going to indicate $50,000, 10% bond. GPS tether, house arrest. In the event somebody's posting $5,000 for you, at least we will know where you're at. And we're setting the court, the exam date for October 5th.
Okay.
At 1:30 PM.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good day. Off the record.